Lance Hall here for the Metal Pit. Happy to welcome Randy Meinhard of Sacrosanct to the program. How are you, Randy?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am doing excellent. New album Kidron came out March 7th, so about 10, 11 days ago on Roar Records. Great response I see you're getting to the release and to the videos and stuff like that. You got to be happy to get this thing out and be getting the responses that you're getting.
Yeah, is it like that? Here over in Europe, it's really great, but I haven't heard any reviews or seen any reviews from the United States actually. So I don't know if there are any responses actually. So maybe you know more than I.
Hopefully we'll try and get you some because I'm in the States, but the Metal Pit is based out of Canada, so we're going to cover two countries here with this one.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Let's start where I like to start with the title of the album and the cover art. Title is Kidron. I looked it up. It's a ravine in Jerusalem leading to Mount Olive. Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Kidron, when I looked it up, it was a ravine in Jerusalem that leading to the Mount of Olives or Mount Olive.
Correct.
Yeah. How did you come up with that for the title?
Yeah, I was honestly, I was inspired by the fifth track called Gethsemane.
Okay.
And this track is about the last hours before the death penalty. And I was inspired. I was looking up for a cool album title because we had to change the title after all those two or 3 years after the first recording of it. And then I looked up and yeah, I was trying to find a new name. And I had these parallels to the last meal of Jesus. And I saw these parallels because of his last days on earth. And then I looked up and then I found Kidron Valley, because Kidron Valley splits Jerusalem and the Mount of Olives.
Okay.
And yeah, and there were several reasons to choose this name because Jesus went over Kidron Valley on his last day on earth. And this was one reason. The second reason was that people in Jerusalem weren't able to bury their people in Jerusalem, so they had to go up to the Mount of Olives. And this also had the red thread to our fourth album, Necropolis, because they built up more or less a necropolis on the Mount of Olives. And there were more reasons than that, because today Kidron Valley is really dry, and in former times it was green.
Yeah.
And above that, it's a catchy title, I think.
Yeah, I thought it worked really well. I thought it was interesting when I read about it, and then what you said with track 5 there, the title meaning a place of great suffering. So I kind of got the tie-in a little bit. You mentioned the creating the album, quite the process going through this album. It started back in about, that's my dog, she's going to be quiet in a second. They love to make cameos in every interview. This album goes back to the COVID period of 2020. You completed it more or less in 2021, but then your vocalist left and you had to re-record things, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. How did that work? Almost like doing it twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Yeah, we finished recordings almost in 2021 with a vocalist his name was Ron. And yeah, then we split up. It was really, yeah, it was a hard time. It was the COVID period and everyone gets mad. And yeah, and we couldn't get along with each other anymore at that point. That was sad, but it was the way things work sometimes. So yeah, and then we asked ourselves, what should we do now? But on the other hand, I knew that Max Morton, who is also doing the production since Necropolis, he also did the remastering of all 3 first albums. I knew that he was a great singer because I recognized him already on YouTube I think it was 2016 or something. And I was looking for a vocalist for Necropolis, for our 4th album. Yeah, and at that point, we found a producer. He uploaded really cool. He was testing a guitar amp on his studio channel, the Morton studio channel. and was singing along with it and playing guitar. So he's really an amazing musician and an amazing singer. And so I listened to all those Morton albums, and yeah. And at that point, he said, just let me try it. I will send you, a recording of Avenging Angel. And he did. And it was not a demo. It was already, it was already finished. So you could put it on the album directly. But he first did the first verse, the pre-chorus and the chorus. And then we had to wait 6 another weeks for finishing. And it was really exciting. Yeah, and after we had the first song recorded, it was clear that we will go on with Max.
Did you have to change things much musically with Max's putting the vocal on it as compared to the album you recorded with Ron's vocals, or was it just a matter of Max putting his vocal over that music?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the thing is that when I write music, so let me begin in a different way. The music is exactly the same on the 21 recording and the latest recording. We didn't change anything except the intro of Before It Ends, because there were some influences of Ron, and he said, please don't use my stuff. And that's what we respected, of course.
Sure.
But when I write music, especially when you write for a singer, not only for a growler or a vocalist that does not need any vocal lines, it's different, and it's helpful when you already at least have an idea how somebody will sing to this riff. So I not only do the songwriting itself, I also do mostly catching my ideas on a phone or something like that, where I just do fantasy lyrics or something like that, or melodies, or whistling if it helps. And from there on, and that was also the case with Ron, we did the vocal lines. But if you change lyrics and you have a different singer, everything changes naturally. So it's a totally different thing today. Yeah, you will of course find some parallels, sure, because it's the same music, and the phrasing on this music, on my music, could also sometimes be identical, but that doesn't mean that the vocals sound identical or it's the same track. It's a huge difference, because I really had to get used to it when I first heard the version of Max.
Now, Per Albinston did a lot of your lyrics, correct, on this album? Or did you have input with the lyrics as well?
Yes and no. Per just asked us what he could do and what not, because he already knew all our back catalog. He was familiar with that, and he asked us in what direction the lyrics could go, and in which direction not. But yeah, we gave him free rein mostly, to be honest. I like that when artists have an idea, then how things can develop, and it's mostly good to give them a free hand. So of course there are limitations in a few directions, but he already knew that and respected that, so that's quite easy. I love how Per is how he is playing with the words. He's really a lyricist, and it makes a huge difference if I would write lyrics or he is doing it, because he's working for bigger bands like Theory and many more.
Yeah. Let's jump into a few of the songs on the album. I made some notes. Track 1, Marching Days, I thought was a great, like a fanfare-like opening. I could see this maybe being an opener to a live show. That one there?
Yeah, that would be cool. We just think about that. Actually, we are opening with an older track. We are actually opening our shows with The Silence of Being from Recesses.
Okay.
Yeah, but Marching Days would be awesome. Would be cool. But Marching Days is actually not part of the set, but we are actually thinking about that to add it to the track list.
Cool. Is there a song on this album that you were looking really forward to playing live?
Yeah, Marching Days would be one of these tracks. I would also love to play Before It Ends, but it's another 9-minute track, so we have to take care of that. We have to keep in mind because most of our songs are longer than 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. Track 3, Prince of Clowns. I love this title. Great title. The drumming was fantastic. The solo just completely ripped my face off. And the lyric that jumped out at me was greedy prophet with halo of lies.
Yeah.
And wow, does that ring true right now in my world? You know?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Prince of Clowns?
Yeah, honestly, it's all and he leaves things open for interpretation. Interpret what you think it's best for you. But yeah, the idea was honestly to point a little bit in the direction of all those autocrats and so not just we're not talking about Donald Trump itself, even if there is a snippet, but you can also take Putin or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was the time to write a song about this, and I think things go into different directions now. We are not a political band, but we also have two eyes in our heads when we walk around with an open eye. And I'm 56 now, and I of course have we all have our meaning about that opinion. Sorry. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we have to work with this as a track. But it's a great title. I was really, I loved it from the first second. And there are so many cool phrases in there. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing lyric.
Yeah. Track 4, Coming on the Scorpion. This is my favorite track on the album. I really liked this one. Cool. I love the keys. Is that a synth in there? A synthesizer in there? Do I hear keyboards like synthesizers in that track?
Yes.
And the intro, the ending, I thought were musically fantastic. As I was looking through the lyrics, I thought I was interpreting maybe like some COVID references in this song. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, yes, it's right. But you can I also love these parallels. Even, do you know the video?
Yeah, the video was great.
I like the parallels to games like Resident Evil and stuff. You can take all these viruses thing. It could be COVID. That would be obvious actually. Yeah. But also all these parallels to video games. And I love the atmosphere of the video because John came up with it. And yes, it's made with AI sequences, but he as an artist worked on it for us, and he did this atmosphere and came over with a snippet. And I loved it from the first second. It was amazing. And Coming with the Scorpion, for us, it was, we had a little bit a single idea to keep things a bit more simple, but then also this rhythm change when the chorus comes, it makes a difference, and it keeps things not too simple. There are many things going on in this track that you do not recognize with the first run.
Definitely. Was there a track on the album that you always have the songs that come together really easy before you know it, the song is written and it's recorded and it's done? Was there a track on this album that was particularly hard to put together, one that when you got it done was like, wow, that was really a lot of work, but it was worth it? Or did they all come together relatively easy?
None of them were easy, but
is there one you're most proud of then?
There's a very personal song. I'm proud of all the songs. I'm proud of how Max did the bass, how Max did the vocals, how Jonas played the drums. Or all these roaring solos of Gerrit. This really stands out. So it's really, more or less a band production. It's a band work. But on the album, on our fourth album, there was Clouds Obscured the Sun, for example, and I really worked so hard on these drum tracks. I get mad about that, and I still have this in mind. And that's nothing I have. I have not this feeling for Kidron, but there's a very personal song on it, and it's called The Doorway of Dreams.
Yeah, that was going to be my next track I was going to go to, and I was just going to let you say whatever you wanted to say about it. It's dedicated to a former bass player of yours, Mario, that you've lost. Mm-hmm. Do you want to? Can you tell us a little about it?
The track was originally titled "When We Meet Again," and then we changed the title due to the collaboration with Per. and he changed it to Doorway of Dreams. But the idea was, it was for me personally, because I heard a dog, and you have a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have cats here, and our cat was really sick at that point, and we listened to that track over and over again in the weekends, and each day we said goodbye to her, and then and then Max gave me a hint that there is a possibility to save her life, and that's what we did then. Because normally it's always deadly for a cat when they get these. It's not a virus. It's more, I don't know what it's called in English, to be honest. But that was our personal way, of course. And then Mario, died and left his family, two young children and his wife. And and this song is dedicated to everybody who's mourning people, or whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Track 8, Before It Ends, longest song on the album. Really deep lyrics. The lyrics in this one, I wrote down one verse that really stood out to me, and just the imagery in it. Mourning, peaceful tombstone, twisted shapes of grief. Are we foolish dreamers in eternal sleep? That really, the imagery of all that, particularly the mourning tombstones line, just really got to me.
Yeah, and I think because it's your native, you understand it even more than we do. When I read it, of course I understand it, but not every I did not check every single word. I think it's different if you read something in your own language. It goes always much deeper, I think.
Yeah.
And Per is simply a master of words. He can play with these senses so easily somehow, and he makes something really special of it.
Yeah. How tough was it to sequence this album? Did you do a lot of shuffling, or did it fall into place?
The track list?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started when I was writing the songs, the track list was a bit different, but in the end, it was very clear. To start with Marching Days was for me obvious. Then with a more single track, a track that is good as a single, the second track mostly on most albums, it was perfect for it. And then go into a more faster track, so Prince of Clowns, it came naturally.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back in time a little bit with you. I read you started playing guitar at around the age of 12, and it was Ace Frehley who lit your fire.
Yes.
Kiss Alive or Kiss Destroyer? Which album was it?
Oh, my first album, honestly, was Kiss Alive, that I heard, from a friend or something. But I went to the store and want to buy that, but they only had Dynasty.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, yeah. And I put this record on and I was, okay. I also ordered the Kiss Alive double vinyl at that time. And since today, I'm a big Kiss fan, but of course, I do not listen to it every day.
Sure.
It's fine, but I prefer the first albums, of course. Love Gun. I'm not the biggest Destroyer fan, maybe, but Love Gun is one of my fave albums. But also Creatures of the Night, and and still I love Lick It Up.
Vinnie Vincent was an amazing player.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else along the way? You start out with Kiss, but then you branch out. Who else were some of the other guitarists that you admired as you grew in your progression of playing?
From Kiss on, you mean?
Yeah.
I was I was more interested after listening to Kiss. I was more interested into all these heavier stuff. Motorhead was something I really enjoyed in the early days. Ace of Spades was, I think, the first album I bought. And then came Venom and, of course, Metallica, and then Show No Mercy from Slayer.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I'm still a big Slayer fan. And but honestly, I do not know if I'm really influenced by all these bands. But as a guitar player, Marty Friedman is still my absolute fave. Top notch. It's a completely different universe what he's doing. And it's fine, I think, because yes, some influences you maybe hear, you can maybe hear, others not. So that also counts for bands I'm listening to.
Yeah, great
Some are
point.
more obvious, but I think it's this whole thrash thing that we did on the first two albums. It's still there. It's part of our DNA, and even if we are called maybe a progressive power metal band or whatever it is, we do things a little bit different than bands like Hammerfall or Halloween or whatever these classical power metal, speed metal bands. I also think that we are writing our riffs in a completely different way.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, the band was formed back in 1988. The first three albums came out in 1990 through 1993.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking of the way it was back then and the way things are. You guys are like all over social media. You got your website, www.sacrosanctonline.online, that is. As a veteran of both sides of this, forming a band back in the 80s when you had to rely on labels and PR people, as compared to now when you can literally do an album, you don't even have to be in the same room. You can do file sharing. You want to release something, you put it up on YouTube and it's worldwide instantly.
Yes.
Obviously, there's pros and cons, better and good and bad things on both sides of it. What's your take on it all, as compared to then, as compared to now? And
yeah, honestly, I'm not a person who's looking back a lot. I'm happy with the things, with all these digital stuff. I like that a lot, but I also enjoyed the former times where we have to meet in the rehearsal space and write songs together. It's, yeah, as you said, it's a totally different game today. That also counts for, yeah, it's not only file sharing, it's also writing songs remote. I'm writing most of the songs in my studio here and record all the drums, or at least I program the drums. We are using software for this. And later Jonas is taking over the part and is doing his drumming and recording the drums in his studio again. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, both have their advantages, and there are things I do not like at the time. But today is more, as you said, it's more, there's more freedom, but you also can maybe record songs for just a few euros. You do not need a big record company. But in the end, I think it didn't change a lot, because if you have a record company, you get a totally different awareness from media, from press. It still counts. It still has a value if you have a record company in the back. And if you're doing it on your own, it's, yeah, you have the freedom, but you do not have the reach. Definitely not. Yeah. And I cannot say if it's, even if you have a record company in the back, it doesn't mean that you can live from the music. That's sure, of course. Right. But at least, yeah, you have people who are experienced, who have connections to the press and is doing all the PR work, and that's, yeah, honestly, I can concentrate on other things then because they are doing a good job.
Yeah, definitely pros and cons. The band is Sacrosanct. The album is Kidron. It's out now on Roar Records. It came out March 7th, about 11 days ago. I have some silly questions I'd like to end with, Randy. Hopefully these are questions that you've never been asked before. But before I do, was there any questions I didn't ask you about the album, about the music, that something that you didn't get to say about it that I didn't ask?
No, it's great.
Okay.
Cool. You're really well prepared.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Let's see. What is a day off from music like for you, where you say, okay, I'm not going to write, I'm not going to record, I'm not going to play, I'm just going to take the day off from music? What do you do?
Sports. I love sports. And I love video games and maybe some, yeah, I'm not a big friend of gardening, but sometimes you have to do that. And I enjoy it with my wife and with the cats. We do not have kids. Yeah. We go, drive by, go by bike or whatever. It's, yeah, whatever makes fun to us. But mostly we like to do sports, honestly.
Very cool.
Sport is a big part of my life.
All right. Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do laundry or the dishes?
Sorry?
Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do laundry or the dishes?
Okay, I do both because I'm mostly at home.
Okay.
I do a lot of the housework. I can do both.
All right. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
I don't know the English word. Is it teddy?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. I love it.
What is your favorite city to visit or go to on tour?
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of big cities, but I visited the States and I really enjoyed San Francisco.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I've never
Cool.
been there. All
Amazing.
right. When was the last time you walked outside barefoot?
Yesterday, I think.
Yesterday?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love to ask people from your part of the world this question. What's the fastest speed you've ever been in a car?
I just can say it in kilometers. I don't know
Yeah, that's fine.
the miles of it. I think it must be 270.
Wow. What were you in for a car?
Yeah, we had the chance to drive a Porsche on a track with, and that was cool, but it was also possible here on the highway. I had a BMW with, I think, 260 PS or something, and it goes up to 250, 255, 260 or something like that.
Wow, that's fast. What would
Yeah,
be
it was fast.
Yeah. What is your go-to song for karaoke?
I do not do karaoke, honestly.
Okay. All right. If you could cover a song, what would be a song you've always wanted to maybe cover that you never did?
Oh, I like Queensryche would be cool, maybe, or Megadeth would also be great. I like these bands.
Okay. Very cool.
Maybe a Megadeth song would be cool I can imagine Max singing one of these tracks.
All right. Would you rather be on a deserted desert island alone or with someone who never stopped talking?
Oh, that's a good question. I think with someone else.
Okay.
Being alone, I think it's not cool.
Conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. And this is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a biopic of your life, a biography like movie, what actor would you pick to play you? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Most of the actors I really adore, maybe a bit too old, even if I'm now 56. It's not I'm not the kind of guy, but I really enjoy Keanu Reeves.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Yeah, then that would be cool, I think.
Randy, I really appreciate your time. We've been talking with Randy Meinhard today of Sacrosanct, the album, once again, Kidron, out now on Roar Records. I appreciate your time talking to me. Going forward, I wish you safe travels. May all your travels be safe and all your future shows sold out.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, and take care, stay healthy, and greetings to all your listeners.
Thank you very much, Randy. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you.